Hello and welcome to NEPA Investigates. I'd like to welcome you to this special edition coverage of the coronavirus. This coverage will include very special details that are very important to us here as residents in northeastern Pennsylvania. They will cover very important key details that all of us as residents of northeastern Pennsylvania are asking and need to know, such as unemployment, the stimulus, the SBA, as well as the new color code system for the reopening of Pennsylvania. So I'd like to welcome you to NEPA Investigates. Again, my name is Corey Camasso. Thank you for joining us. Let's jump right in. Hello and welcome to NEPA Investigates. My name's Corey Camasso and I'd like to welcome you to this very special coverage of the coronavirus. Today we're going to go over all the details, but first we're going to start with the numbers. And these are the numbers that are most important to us because these are the numbers here in the United States, in Pennsylvania, and more importantly, northeastern Pennsylvania. Because these numbers are so important, I found it very important to write them down so I get them accurate, because that is essential in this time. What I've noticed is there's so much inaccurate reporting and so many fictitious ideas, even from the president, that we need to understand there's a lot of people trying to do a lot of good. A lot of people, there's a lot of hearts in the right place, but we need to kick back, relax, and focus on the facts. We can't be jumping the gun and putting false hope into people. While it is very good to spread hope, it's more damaging to spread false hope. We always have to make sure we grasp the facts, and that is what we are here to do at NEPA Investigates. And these are the facts and the numbers right here in northeastern Pennsylvania. So first, we're going to give you the numbers in the world. There are 2,775,207 cases of the coronavirus at the time we are making this video. Of that, 194,454 have passed worldwide due to the coronavirus. In the United States, there are 828,441 cases, of which 46,379 have passed. In Pennsylvania, there are 38,652. At the time we're making this video, we are the number 5 state. And that is not a metric to be proud of. We are the 5th highest state in coronavirus cases. With that said, there are 1,492 deaths, as released by the Pennsylvania Department of Health today. In northeastern Pennsylvania, there are 4,748 cases, with 209 deaths. Those are large numbers. And while they are very large numbers, what we need to know is they aren't as high, nearly as high, as most major authorities were predicting. That's either a good thing or a bad thing in the sense that we were so inaccurate and so incorrect. And we need to understand if the accuracy or I don't want to say fallacy, or I guess the incorrectness, for lack of better words, would prove to be not incompetence, and I want to make sure people understand that. I think what people need to understand is most of these numbers that came out were numbers that they truly felt were accurate, and they didn't put them out there to scare for the most part. They put them out there to warn us, to show us what they really predicted and what they thought this virus was capable of. And while these numbers are now substantially lower than what we had initially anticipated, they are still phenomenally high numbers for a viral outbreak. Within 1 month, there are 39,000 cases in our state alone. That is a huge number. In certain areas like Luzerne County, Monroe County, the numbers are astronomically higher than other counties. And that's all going to come into play when it comes time to reopen the state. But from what I understand, Pennsylvania's decided to open in a 6-county, or I should say a 6-district system. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But first, let's go over a few of the metrics of the numbers. These are the numbers in Pennsylvania, and these are the metrics that matter to us in Pennsylvania because these are divided in several important key categories that are very important because they show us not only how it relates to us, but they show us where it focuses on in our area, and it shows us how, as a community, it is ravaging our populace. So first, let's go with the county-wide counts and death counts. So in Luzerne County, that is the largest detriment so far in our region, and that is Luzerne County with 1,921 cases and 62 deaths. Monroe County, 1,037 cases and 44 deaths. Lackawanna County, 735 cases and 61 deaths. Pike County, 338 cases and 12 deaths. Columbia County, 252 cases, 7 deaths. Carbon County, 160 cases, 12 deaths. Wayne County, 88 cases, 3 deaths. Susquehanna, 76 cases, 4 deaths. Montour, 47 cases, no deaths. Lycoming, 48 cases, no deaths. It's phenomenal to hear no deaths, believe me, it truly is. That says substantial things for their medical and health systems within those counties. Bradford County, 28 cases, 2 deaths. Wyoming County, 17 cases, 2 deaths. And Sullivan County, 1 case, no deaths. So that is our 13 counties, which we consider here in our viewing area in northeastern Pennsylvania investigates. And those are the numbers in county-wide. Now we've also went ahead and utilized the Pennsylvania Department of Health split down. And we're going to go ahead and tell you female, male, and non-reported. So female, there are 20,000 cases, 20,790 cases for female, of which 691 have passed. Male is 17,298 cases, of which 795 have passed. So what we could tell you from that number is even though less males have caught the disease, more have passed away. So it seems to be infiltrating the male body at a much higher rate, enough that it's actually clearly noticeable in the numbers. In the non-reported cases, there are 563 and 6. Now, non-reported could be non-binary. That could be just non-reported before the system, enabled the male and female. So, and then we're going to get to that in the racial and the split down by ethnic categories in a moment. But there's a few different reasons why there are other categories, and we are just going to leave it at that. Right now we have the racial categories or the ethnic background categories. Right now in the African Americans, it is 3,719 cases in NEPA, of which 166. Asian is 384 and 21 deaths. Whites, 7,497 cases, 538 deaths. Other, 154 cases, 3 deaths. And then not available or not given would be 26,898 cases, 764 deaths. Now, I did make a mistake there. This isn't NEPA. These are statewide numbers, at least for female, male, and ethnic categories. Unfortunately, there was no county-wide breakdown for that available to the public at this point or to the press. So unfortunately, that is all I can really give you. And frankly, that is a little bit weak reporting in the ethnic categories, but it at least gives you a breakdown on the available numbers presented. So, it seems pretty well split up. It actually seems to be killing the white group faster than it's killing any other ethnicity, rather. So that is a good thing, at least, because number one, the numbers are down. Those numbers are great because they are nowhere near what we thought they would be. And we really need to be either proud of the job we're doing or happy in the fact that the virus is not nearly as lethal. It is very contagious as they had anticipated, but it's nowhere near as lethal as they initially anticipated. As far as ages catching the virus goes, in the 0 to 12 category, only 1% of the entire makeup of the coronavirus in Pennsylvania, only 1% is between the ages of 0 and 12. 1% between the ages of 13 and 18. 6% between the ages of 19 and 24. 39% between the ages of 25 and 49. 28% between the ages of 50 and 64, and then 25% in the cases in the ages of 65 and above, to which needed to be hospitalized. Only 2% of those between the ages of 2 and 29. 2% of all cases between the ages of 0 and 29 needed to be hospitalized. Between the ages of 30 and 49, only 5% of the people that caught this virus needed to be hospitalized. And these are lower numbers than were initially anticipated by a lot, because remember, they were going up for around 20%. And we get to those numbers, but in such a smaller fraction that it's much better than what we initially anticipated. Between the ages of 50 and 64, only 10%. That was initially thought to be around 15 to 18%, so 10%. And then it jumps in the ages between 65 and up, it is literally 41%, or I'm sorry, 21%. So 21% of those between the ages of 65 and above need to be hospitalized. So 21% is 1% higher than the average that we initially anticipated, but once you do the breakdown, it turns around. So the numbers are better than initially anticipated, but as always stated, it is very, very bad for the elderly. And it is extremely bad for the weak or the health or the immune indeficient. All right, so those are the numbers, and those are the numbers that are most important to us here in northeastern Pennsylvania. What those numbers show us is that A, social distancing is working no matter how we look at it. B, there are areas within our community that may not necessarily be ready to open, but I feel that opening may not be necessarily a bad thing as long as certain measures are practiced. We really do need to focus on business, and we really do need to focus on the freedoms and the liberties that were granted to us by, everything that our country has ever fought for. I'm a personal business owner, so I do have, a foot in pretty much almost every army here. And what I'd like to say is, it's killing me not to be able to open. It's killing me to know that as a DJ, as an entertainment company, as a video production company, as, press, there are so many things that we are no longer able to do, and we may not be able to do for a great deal of time, and we're going to get into that. But I just wanted to get it out there that everyone really does need to understand that, yes, this is a very bad thing, but we really need to start opening in phases, and the phases need to be very, very cautious, and we need to do this right. But we cannot function, we cannot survive as a country if we continue on the path we're on very much longer. That I can assure you. We're already well worse off than most of you understand. And I don't want to panic you any worse than what we need to, because that's not the point of this video. This is not a scare video. This is not an attack video. This is basically me telling you, focus. Pay attention to what's going on in the world around you, because it's very important. What happens over the next 2-3 months is going to change the entire fabric of our country. And we here in northeastern Pennsylvania have a very big part in that. So we do need to work together, understand the situation we're in, and function correctly and accordingly. Now, this virus is terrible, and it is ravishing through all communities. If you have any of the symptoms, what we need you to do is reach out to the Pennsylvania Department of Health. Right now, the Pennsylvania Department of Health has set up a wonderful website and a wonderful phone system that is helping people get connected to the help and the care that they need. Now, first and foremost, if you have a PCP, a primary care physician, it is always highly recommended that you reach out to them first. So primarily reach out to your PCP. If you don't have a PCP, that doesn't mean you're not eligible for care. You are certainly eligible for care through this coronavirus and the CARES stimulus bill. So what you need to understand is you can contact the Pennsylvania Department of Health. They can be reached at 1-877-PA.HEALTH. That's 1-877-724-3258. 1-877-PA.HEALTH. Give them a call. They will set you up. They will take your symptoms. They will let you recognize and understand what position you are in. And they will give you recommendations to either seek testing And we're going to go over all the testing sites located here in northeastern Pennsylvania because that's very important to us. These are all the things and all the questions that people have asked us. So these are the things that we are going to bring to you and the things that we need you to understand as well. So you can also visit and go to health.pa.gov and click the pre-register link. You'll be able to go through your symptoms, prevention, FAQs, hospital data, press releases, and more. So all that's available on the health.pa.gov website, and that is also where you can register to get tests as well as locate and attain health care as needed based on your symptoms for the coronavirus. Now, there are several COVID sites set up within northeastern Pennsylvania, one of which was very controversial in the beginning. Then it turns out that for the first week, there was only literally 350 to 400 tests done, even though it was only open to healthcare professionals, first responders, and the senior citizens. Now it is open to everyone. So with that said, that then therefore opens up all the testing sites to everyone as long as you pre-register either through the Pennsylvania Department of Health, your primary care physician, or the individual providers, which I'm about to tell you. So this is the list of all of the COVID testing sites within the northeastern Pennsylvania 13-county region to which we broadcast. So the COVID sites. Geisinger has set up several. If you are a member of Geisinger, you can contact them directly or contact, like I said, the PA Department of Health. That is Scranton Geisinger, Musick Geisinger, Wilkes-Barre Geisinger, Nanticoke Geisinger, Danville Geisinger, and Cole Township Geisinger, all of which are available for COVID testing. The UPMC in Williamsport and the UPMC in Wellsboro are available for COVID testing. St. Luke's Hospital in Lehighton and St. Luke's in Broadheadsville are available for COVID testing. Evangelical Hospital in Lewisburg is available for testing. The Rite Aid in Plains right now was the first one released at the time I made this video, but apparently a lot of the Rite Aids are going to be popping up with COVID testing centers. So please check the Rite Aid website. They also have a sign-up available on their website from what I understand, so that is something to look into if you have Rite Aid. Dingman Medical Center in Dingman's Ferry, that is another facility that is taking COVID testing. The Lehigh Valley Health Network in Hazleton, Palmerton, and Stroudsburg, all of which are taking COVID testing. And then lastly, but not least, the one I spoke of, the Mohegan Sun Arena on Highland Park Boulevard in Wilkes-Barre Township is also taking COVID testing through the Pennsylvania Department of Health website. So those are all testing sites available within Pennsylvania. So if you feel you have the symptoms, give them a call, let them know what's going on, let them count you in with the symptoms so that they can basically get you the test and bring you into the numbers so we can get the proper health care and assess this situation properly so we can reopen accordingly. In Pennsylvania, right now we have the mask initiative in place, and what that means is everyone has to wear a mask when you go into public. If you are stepping into the public eye and you are coming within contact of other individuals, so every store you walk into, or any very populous areas, obviously you're not supposed to be in populous areas of more than 10, but with that said, everyone needs to wear a mask in the state of Pennsylvania. The only excuse from that mask is for a medical condition. You don't need a note at this time. Please don't take advantage of the situation. These are here to protect all of us. If somebody else has it, you don't want to catch it, you have it, you don't want to give it. This is a situation we all need to work together. So this isn't something we should be fighting. In the beginning I'm thinking, this is against our liberty. We shouldn't be. Yeah, it is. It really is, and it stinks that we have to bring it down to that. But we need to protect the American people, and that is so much more important than anything else. I went on the street and I spoke with a lot of good citizens here in northeastern Pennsylvania. And when I first went out, I had a certain opinion. And after I spoke with the residents in northeastern Pennsylvania, I got a really good feeling of why it's important to the residents. So while I may not 100% agree, I feel it's important to take a stance that's important to northeastern Pennsylvania. And that is wear your mask and keep this area safe. We need to work together, and unity is so much more important than bipartisanship at this point. And if they're going to do that, let them. Let them. Because you know what? When November comes around, we know who to go for and we know who not to go for. We have to go for the people with our best interests at heart. We have to go for the people that, while they may have no idea what they're talking about, they're at least trying and they're not fighting the system that's trying to destroy them. Remember that, because that's the most important thing. We can always help somebody understand what they need to know. It's very hard to fill someone's head in within 1 month with so much information and expect them to understand it all, especially when they don't even come from a background anywhere near that. But if they're doing their best, we need to understand that and not hate, but help. It's so important, and make sure we do understand that. When you go to a store, like I said, make sure that you are wearing your mask, and only do so if it is for a medical need. Now, if they're not letting you in and you have a severe medical need, you need to document that, because that is against your medical rights. That is a civil liability on their behalf, and that is something you may need to address in court once this all resolves. Obviously, no courts are open at this point. Don't even focus on that at this point. But it is something you need to address in the future, because no one has the right to discriminate in any situation, regardless of disaster. At this point, with discrimination and all that, it's important to speak about mental health. In northeastern Pennsylvania especially, we have a lot of secluded areas. We have a lot of people that are lonely. We have a lot of people staying in one-bedroom apartments, so on and so forth. Mental health is so important right now. Anxiety, fear, depression, addiction, domestic violence, so much is important. And when we are stuck in confined, tiny little spaces, and everyone around us may irritate us a little more than usual, these are things that we need to address. Mental health is so key right now that we need to understand the position we're in. We need to make sure we're getting space. Go out for air. Do it with social distancing in mind. Do it the proper way. But make sure you're focusing on mental health. If you have any kind of issue whatsoever, text PA to 741-741. Text PA to 741-741, and you will get the information that you need to work on your mental health or the mental health of someone you care about. You can also call 1-855-284-2494. Again, that's 1-855-284-2494, and that is for mental health within here in the Pennsylvania state. And you can also visit the health.pa.gov for crisis help, or by dialing 211 or pound 898-211. So that's 211 or pound 898-211 for crisis help during mental health and disaster situations. There's a great deal of food and local assistance available, which is also essential. If you know somebody that's not eating properly, you know somebody that needs help cooking or preparing a meal, make sure you're doing that safely, but make sure you're doing that. We, like I said, need to work together. Unity is essential in northeastern Pennsylvania, and we here at NEPA Investigates think that is key. And we will do anything we can to facilitate any assistance or help that you need. You're always able to reach out to the NEPA Investigates hotline at 570-500-5002. That is 500-5002. That is the NEPA Investigates hotline. You're welcome to reach out via call or text, and we can help you facilitate either any assistance via mental health or through food and local assistance by relaying you to the proper channels. Obviously, we can't provide any mental assistance, but we can certainly give you the information that you need. And all of that will also be available in the links and descriptions below. Please make sure you subscribe to NEPA Investigates, because that is the only way we are going to be able to continue to provide you with this information, as we, obviously are a nonprofit. We're not putting ads up before any of our videos at this point yet, but I do want to let you know that we do need the help. So if you can help any which way, please, by all means, do so. Please reach out to us either via comment below or through our Venmo, which is also available in the links and descriptions below. There is a ton of food and available assistance for those that need it. And by all means, if you have the availability, please donate, food that you have extra. If you have stuff in the pantry you're not going to eat before the expiration, but it is not yet expired, obviously, please donate that to your soup kitchen. Donate that to a local church that has a food pantry anywhere. That if you don't know where to go to take that food, or you don't know where to go to receive that food, there are two great websites set up in Pennsylvania. hungerfreepa.org, that is hungerfreepa.org, and feedingpa.org, feedingpa.org, both of which can tell you where to donate or where you can find yourself food in this time of need. There's another great site nationwide, which is called foodpantries.org. That is another great website that gives you, nationwide food pantries, soup kitchens, so on and so forth, that are available year-wide, as well as through this COVID disaster. Unemployment. So, many of us lost our position, lost our job, maybe temporary, maybe permanent, depending on the situation, based on the business. So, we have all tried to get through to unemployment. The majority of us have gotten a busy signal for the most part, because in Pennsylvania they have an antiquated phone system that only allows up to 100 calls at once. There's one way to get through that system that I have found, and I'm going to share that with you now. That is called Auto Redialer. It is an app available through Android, and it is an app available through the iPhone store. You download this, you enter the Pennsylvania system's phone number, and you let that do the work. It will sit there for about 20-30 minutes until it is able to get through, but it'll sit there and do the redialing for you so you can still function through your day and not go nuts and think about nothing else. That is something I highly recommend. You need to contact the Pennsylvania Department of Welfare so that they can contact and get the information properly assessed. The Pennsylvania Department of Welfare and the Department of Labor have put together a group of other department heads and department labor assistants, and they've come together to process these applications faster than they ever have before. However, sometimes it's helpful to get through and let them see your application while you're on the phone with them. This way, if they have any questions, they can immediately address them and process your application accordingly. So again, that's called Auto Redialer. Also keep in mind, unemployment is now available for everyone that was self-employed. If you were a DJ at bars, if you were a band playing at bars, the casino, this, that, and the other thing. Anywhere that you were a gig worker, self-employed, independent contractor, anything along those lines, you are now eligible for unemployment. From what I understand, the average wage will be around $795 a week. It's $195 base plus the $600 bonus, which will cover you through the end of July, according to the current stimulus bill. So that is something you do need to look into, you do need to apply for, and make sure when you put your unemployment date, you mark it back to the 15th or 16th when the majority of us lost our employment, or when you did lose your employment. But if you were a gig worker, for the most part, that is when we were no longer able to perform, in the outside venues. So that is something to take into account. As well as you may be eligible for food stamps. Food stamps is another program, a great program that you can get through to the compass.pa.gov website. Compass is the food stamps, cash assistance, SNAP benefits, CHIP, all that stuff is available on the Compass website. Make sure you sign up for that. You may be eligible for food stamps or even cash assistance in addition to the unemployment, depending on the situation you're in. Those are some great assets available to you, and those are on a separate website than where you would go for unemployment, and that is through compass.pa.gov, another great NEPA resource that you may not have known is available to you, but at this point it's available to pretty much all of us based on the current stimulus bill. As far as bills, utilities, rent, all of that, let's go over that real quick. Utilities. Utilities cannot be shut off at this point, but that does not mean your bill cannot accrue and accumulate. While they may not be able to shut you off, they will continue to add your bill. If you have the ability to pay on any utilities or rent, pay. Unless rent is forgiven, if you have a private lender, if you have some kind of agreement where they're forgiving this period, then by all means, please take advantage of such. But for the most part, rent will still be due. Utilities will still be due. Now, if you can't afford them, it doesn't mean they're not going to shut them off. It doesn't mean they're going to come out. No. But what you should do is contact them. Do not go into default. If you contact them and they put you on a passive buy, which means they're not going to send you bills, they're not going to, well, they'll send you bills, but they're not going to send you collection notices, and then they're not going to put a collection bill into your name. That is something you need to do. Make sure you contact each and every bill that you may or may not default on. Let them know your situation and see what is available to you. Anything that you owe on, call them. Explain the situation. Say, I am not on unemployment yet. I do not have this. I do not have that. I do not have the funds available to me at this time. What is available? Some creditors are doing great things for their people, especially the longer you've been with those creditors. Some banks are doing some wonderful things. Make sure you tell them. Do not just go in default. If you go in default, it'll go against your credit. And if this gets any worse, you will have no help when you need it. Please make sure you understand that. This is information, this is news that no one else is giving you right now, but these are the things you need to know, NEPA, and that is what NEPA Investigates is all about. Call your debtors. Tell them what's going on. Tell them you cannot pay them, and they will work with you. But if you don't do it that way, I assure you, when push comes to shove, you are not going to get the help you need. The people that did that will get the help first. If you're in a special government program that's paying your bills and you have to pay a certain amount, call that program, let them know the situation. This way, if you do end up going in default, when it comes time to resume and you're capable of paying those bills, if we get another stimulus, this, that, and the other thing, then you will be able to go forth and work with that. And that is important. As far as stimulus checks go, the majority of people with direct deposit received their stimulus on April 15th. Myself included. Thank you, Democrats. Thank you, Republicans. Thank you, America. So that helped. That got me out of debt, for the most part, for my personal self with the loss of business from that point forward. Now what? It is still accruing. It is still moving forward for me. But if you haven't received your stimulus check, it's coming. So if you're getting a check, that means if you received a check for your taxes in the past 2 years, that means you're getting a check now. They're going to be doing it by income, so the lower the income you have, the faster you'll receive your check. I'm assuming it's because they assume you have less of a nest egg, so they're trying to get that out to you quicker. That is a good thing. These checks will be out to you by the end of May, from what the Treasury is telling us at this point, because the IRS, it's pretty much out of their hands at this point because it goes back to the Treasury to print the checks. That information then has already been distributed, at least what they had. So once those checks are distributed, at that point, then they're going to go and check the Social Security numbers that received nothing. They're going to go against them and check to see what kind of information they have to reach those people, and they're going to see what kind of income information they have on those people. At which point they're going to reach out and see whether or not you have either filled out the TurboTax, which is the only legitimate outside the IRS and Treasury website that I would recommend you filling out the information for your stimulus check for. Do not go to any other website for the most part, because it's probably fraud. There is more fraud going on right now, and that is disgusting, than I have ever seen. There are scams as far as the stimulus check. There are scams as far as getting your banking information for the P.P.P. and the EIDL loans. There are scams literally going against the SBA, trying to take out loans for businesses that don't even exist. And that is why there is now no funding for businesses that do exist. I mean, it is disgusting, the level of scamming going on. So Northeastern Pennsylvania, please pay attention. The IRS will not be calling you. And if they do call you, they will have your information. They're not going to ask you for your information. They'll have it, and they'll give you the information you need to know. Remember that. Don't share any information, not even the last 4 digits, with anyone unless you know they were calling or they can verify who they are and where they are calling from in a very specific way. Otherwise, they won't be doing it because clearly they're not true. So make sure you're paying attention to where you are putting your information at this point, because all of it is extremely essential. Now, that leaves us with, what do we do next? We have no money coming in after the stimulus check. We have no unemployment yet, which they will get to, and we'll be covered until July, but then what? What if our company is no longer there? What if our business no longer exists? This, that, and the other thing. We need to reopen. Regardless of what you may feel about the situation at hand, this is America. And the choice should be within the business owners and the people and the customers, for that matter. If you choose not to, patronize a business, so be it. That's your choice. But they should have the choice to unlock their doors. If you don't want to go there, you don't have to go there. If you'd like to see if they can offer you curbside assistance or curbside delivery, by all means, please do so. I assure you most small businesses are going to do everything they can to implement such. We're going to be following those CDC guidelines, and we're going to do everything we can to function as a society. We have to. We have to move forward. We're Americans. We can't sit back and just wither away. We are a great democracy, and we are going to fight, Northeastern Pennsylvania included, and especially Northeastern Pennsylvania. I have never seen, I've been outside this area for the past few years, and when I came back, I realized the difference. This area, whether you realize it or not, is so much more connected than any other area. The people here care more about everyone else than anywhere else I've ever been. And I think that's such a great thing. And while, yes, it may be a little bit backwards at times, it's fun. It's NEPA. All right. So before we open, the government has implemented that these are the processes that the government will have in place before May 8th for the most part. Monitoring and surveillance program in place for COVID and testing and symptoms and so on and so forth. Vulnerable population protection, meaning no longer prisons, no longer nursing home visitation for at least the most part. Limitations on larger gatherings of 50 or more, and adequate PPE and safety protocols in place. So those are all the things that they're going to lock into place, and those things are going to be locked into place before they even consider opening anything, okay? Once they do that, then they're going to implement, and which they've already implemented, but it's going to take longer than that anyway. So any community that wishes to open has to average for 14 days or longer 50 or less new cases per day. So if there are less than 50 cases in one day for 14 or more days in a row, that county can be considered to be reopened. Now, reopen doesn't mean all doors open, everybody run around, free for all, back to normal. Absolutely not. That just means you go into phase yellow. That's right, we're going into color codes, just like we did back when the terror attacks hit. In 2001, we have 3 color codes as assigned by Governor Wolf. There's yellow, there's red, and there's green. Same as the traffic light and in the same order, okay? Now, when we open, we're not going to open by individual county. We're going to open what's called a health group, if you will. And that is a health region that was already predetermined and pre-split by the Pennsylvania Department of Health before this even happened. There are 6 different districts. There is Northwestern, North Central, South Central, Southwestern, Northeast, and Southeast. Okay? Pennsylvania, Northeastern Pennsylvania is mostly in the Northeast. For the most part, I think it's 10 of 13 are in the Northeast. The only others are going to be in the North Central. So there's North Central, which I believe is like Bradford, Tioga counties, all those are in North Central, and then Northeast is the majority of us, which is Luzerne, Lackawanna, Monroe, Carbon, all the counties that are in northeastern Pennsylvania in the Northeast region. So that means that literally that entire region of all, I believe it's 10 counties have to have 50 or less cases. See, that changes it. It's no longer just in a county. It's in that whole big giant health district, which is all the counties, okay? They all have to literally go together, and I'm going to put our district and all the districts down below in the description so you can see where we lie. But you have to have 50 or less cases within a matter of around 10 counties in every day for 14 days before we can technically be eligible to reopen, starting May 8th. Can't do this before May 8th, but at that point you can then put your application in to be considered. Now, we are all in category red right now. That includes life-sustaining businesses only are allowed to be open. Care and prison restrictions are heavy and in place. There are no schools allowing to have in-school studies, and stay-at-home orders are implemented, including masks and so on and so forth. Large gatherings of 10 or more are prohibited, carry out and delivery for restaurants only, and travel is only for life-sustaining abilities. So that is what is going to stay in place till May 8th, and until your health region of 10 or more counties will have less than 50 or more cases, new cases, for 14 days straight. That's a lot to take in. It's available on PA.HEALTH.GOV, but you have to understand it's important. PA.HEALTH.GOV. You got to check it out because this is how Pennsylvania is going to be. This is what Governor Wolf is putting in place. We may not open for a long time based on those assessments, and I don't think anybody realizes that yet. I think most people are like, oh, okay, we're getting open, yay. No. Maybe, like I said, the counties that, had absolutely nobody within their county, they may be reopening, yes. And that might be great for Sullivan, Wyoming counties, but, I don't think they're going to be happy with Luzerne County when we still have 50 or more cases in a day, destroying it for the rest. So it's going to stink for a while. I can assure you it's not going to be fun. And this may be closed a lot longer than we thought. And hopefully they may reassess this, they may look into this, but this is what's going on in EPA, and these are the important facts that you need to know. So then you go into what's called yellow. You're still not even back open. Even if you passed all that, you're not open. You just go into yellow phase. And that is where teleworking, when available, is essential. If you could do telework, you're still taking telework. But if you must go to work, if you have a retail business, you must go in to sell your products, so on and so forth, then it's open. Otherwise, stay home. In-person businesses must follow special PA health guidelines that are going to be implemented very shortly. Something to look forward to, another list of rules. So this world will never be the same, that I promise you. And for the near future, it's not going to be anywhere near the same. So buckle up, folks. This is going to get real before it gets any better. But granted, it's not bad. We're all alive. Don't panic. Don't fear. There's no reason to panic in this world. These numbers are so far less than what we thought. It's not even funny. We're probably more than likely 99.8% of us going to survive this, okay? That's fact. But what you need to understand is it's going to be different. It's going to be substantially different. So childcare may resume when the yellow phase, which means that's because more people are going back to work. Obviously, we need it. Care and prison restrictions will still be in place. Can't visit, can't do anything. Schools will remain closed in this yellow phase. So that means, you know, in some counties, such as Luzerne, where these numbers are high, and this is still implemented in, let's say, you know, July, August, September, when school's coming back, we may not be going back to school even next year. Stay at home is going to be released, but social distancing will still be in effect. Masks in some businesses will still be in effect. 25 or more will be prohibited. Guests of 25 or less in the yellow phase. In-person retail will be allowed, but curbside is preferred. Casinos, theaters, and gyms will remain closed. And delivery and takeout only. Restaurants and store dining will remain closed in yellow phase. That's a biter for most. Most people did not expect that. They thought if we spread the tables out, you did this, you did that, it would be acceptable, but it is not acceptable in yellow phase. So then, they really haven't placed when you'll be able to move back into green phase. And green phase is pre-normal, mind you. Green phase is inevitable future. No idea how long it's going to last, probably for a good amount of time, but they're putting it in place so they can restrict our freedoms even further. Hate to say it, but it's fact. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair. I think once this is over, they should just back off. This is freedom. This is America. But they feel it necessary to put us in green phase for the inevitable future, even after yellow phase. So then we get into green phase. This is fun, isn't it, guys? Governor Wolf. Woo! So, green phase, all restrictions lifted. However, new Pennsylvania Department of Health and CDC guidelines will be placed in effect, must be adhered to and followed to continue business and operations. That means whatever they say goes. And for the inevitable future until they decide to take it off. I don't know if that falls off when the governor declares the emergency removed or when the president removes the declaration of emergency. I can't tell you that information, but what I can tell you is it's awful information. So that means that businesses may not be able to resume. Certain businesses may not be able to resume till August, September, and some way past January, okay? So if we're not able to resume, that means we've lost all of that business. They've only approved another, what, 2 trillion? Or I'm sorry, 200 billion or something like that? I apologize, I'm not even sure at this point what the new stimulus was. I'm sorry. I know it brings the total to around 3 trillion. So yeah, I guess it's 500 billion maybe? I don't know. A good amount of money has gone to SBA to continue funding these PPP loans and EIDL loans. Now, to guarantee you a PPP loan, you have to have, you know, employees, more than one for the most part, to get a good PPP. If you only have one employee, you're not getting much, okay? So the more employees you have, but then that's the more you have to pay out anyway through employees. So that's not really covering rent as much as you really want it to. That's not really covering your expenses, this, that, and the other thing, if you're not able to open, but you still have to pay them. While it may cover some of it, they're basing this PPP on 2.5 months. That's it. So now Governor Wolf isn't allowing the opening till when? So then why is it only 2.5 months? So that means most businesses are going to have absolutely no help for several months. So unless you have a really good nest egg in these businesses, they will not be back. So it is more important than ever to support small businesses, even if they're not open. Call them and say, do you plan to stay open? And they will tell you the truth, because at this point, that's all we can do is tell you how we feel. And if they're going to be around, then yes, support them. Invest in the future of the businesses that you enjoy, because without you, we're not going to be around. Without you, there will be no future for the majority of small business. That I can promise you. It is so important because NEPA has so many small, great businesses, so many key businesses that have built this community to what it is. Don't let them be forgotten. Don't let box stores be the only stores left around. Support small business. Call them and ask them if they can ship product to you. Call them and ask them if there is a way that you can somehow patronize their business. We will make it happen. We are smart people. We have built fantastic businesses that have provided you with services that you have enjoyed for years. So as a community, please continue to support us. Buy a gift card. Buy into that business. Tell them you support them. Tell them you love them, and tell them you need them there when they return. Because that is the reason we did this in the first place, and that is the reason we need you now more than ever. So please understand the situation we're in. Businesses may not be back. Okay? That is a sad fact, which means so many of us will be without jobs. So many of us will be without futures, and there's going to be a need for a lot of help. Don't forget about your neighbors. Don't forget about your friends. Remember, we're all in this together, because it could be any of us at this point. It's so much easier to attack someone or attack a race or to attack something when we know, for 9/11, everybody went after, Muslims, this, that, and the other thing. Why? I couldn't even tell you. It was one small group, but it's just hate, and you can attack. You know what it is. You can see them and you can attack it. This virus could be any one of us. And that is what is turning us all against each other. On social media, I have never seen so much hate for a government, for each other, for this, for that. I've never seen so much. It's killing us. It's eating us apart. The virus is no longer the virus. The virus is ourselves, and it's the hate that we have inside. We need to stop that virus before we can stop this other virus. Please, NEPA, understand that. We are a great community. We are a great people. We will defeat this, but we need to do it together. That's the only way. We need to reopen business, but we need to do it responsibly. We need to reopen it way faster than Governor Wolf is doing it, and we need to do it smart. I think as a community, we will find creative ways to do so, and I think NEPA will excel in that area. We have some great representatives. Representative Udechak is an amazing man. I'm telling you, we've got some great people going for us. We just have to work together, call our senators, call our representatives, let them know what we need, because that is important. If you are a small business owner, remember, they just approved the new stimulus. Make sure you're applying to multiple banks and locations for your PPP loans. Yes, I said multiple. Do it. Apply to every single one you can, and when the first one goes through, then cancel the rest of them. But get one of them through. You do not know which one will have the link into the SBA in time to get you the funding you need. So yes, it makes perfect business sense to take as many options as you can. There is tons of outside funding. If you're in Wyoming, Bradford, or Susquehanna counties, you have a very special SBA fund available to you through an SBA fund grant. Only in those 3 counties. Look through your SBDC in that area. If you're not in that area, that doesn't mean there isn't help available to you. Check into the SBDC. Your small business development center in your area is essential. They will give you the links, resources, and outlets that are available in your area to get you funding and grants. The SBA is not your only hope. As much as I hate to say that, I've relied on them up to this point, and now I realize they're not going to do me any good. We're just not big enough. You have to be big enough. You have to find a way in for the most part, or you have to have a great bank, which unfortunately I just do not. So there are so many different things out there that are available to us, and we have to make sure that we are available and ready to do so. Also within Northeastern Pennsylvania is one more very important story, and we're going to be focusing more on this the next round. I'm going to give you a little hint now, a couple of businesses and whatnot, but if you own a business, take care of your people. I, for one, my company here at NEPA Investigates, we're watching. NEPA is very important. and the people and the business workers and everyone that's out there right now on the front lines needs to be protected. If you have employees and you're remaining open, you are fortunate. If you have a job, consider yourself fortunate because you have the opportunity to have a stable check where many of us have no idea what to expect. But remember this, if you own a business, take care of those fortunate people that you have working for you. Because right now there are so many people working that are working in fear. I've had so many calls from business workers that are mostly in warehouses and larger companies that are in fear. You have Amazon, CCL Tube, larger warehouse box stores, Walmarts. So many places people have called with concerns of health matters. That, there's only one sanitizer station. There's absolutely no health test whatsoever. There's no thermometer. There's no this. There's no that. For simple, small funds, you can really protect your employees and you can protect yourselves. Make sure you're taking care of your employees if you're open. Because right now, for the rest of us to get open, we need to bring those numbers down. And if we never bring those numbers down, we'll never come back to work and we'll have no money to keep you in business. So please, we need to work together. Take care of your employees, take care of your friends, take care of your coworkers, take care of your neighbors, take care of your loved ones. Take care of everyone. If we don't do this together at EPA, we will not do this. We are such a great community, and it makes me so proud to do reporting here in northeastern Pennsylvania. The things I've seen over the past few weeks while I was putting together a lot of these info videos for Critical Political Thinking and NEPA Investigates has literally almost brought me to tears, and that's a great thing because NEPA has got some great people. But we need to continue to work forward. We need to continue to reopen business because that is the only way we will continue to survive. And we will move forward, NEPA. Governor Wolf, he's trying. Dr. Levine is trying. President Trump is trying his best. I think they're all doing phenomenal jobs, and we need to get behind them, not against them, because it will do us no good. They're there whether you like it or not. So work with them and work together because that is the only way we are going to succeed. The longer we wait, the less we have to come back to. And that I promise you. Pennsylvania will never be the same. United States and the world will never be the same. What we do in the next few months will determine, will it be worse or will it be greater? My name is Corey Camasso. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. My name, Corey Camasso, NEPA Investigates. Take care.